Hello, everybody, and welcome to Goodnight Productions. My name is Ethan Carpenter, and since I haven't been able to get a lot of content out recently, I'm going to be starting to try and do some normal reviews on occasion, hopefully at least one a week, depending on what I watch, etc. At least one a week, because I'm planning on doing a review of what I'm doing right now every week, Monday Night Raw, at least in the next day or so of it airing. So yeah, Monday Night Raw of the 16th of April. It was actually pretty good. Probably not as good as last week in terms of like excitement because of all of the either the returns or debuts of the call-ups from NXT. But the Superstar Shake-Up is starting, and unfortunately I can't watch SmackDown most of the time. So I'll try and like have some updates on that in maybe my Raw video next week. I'll just go through the card, see if there's anything big stuff from last week that happened. Paige is the new GM of SmackDown, which is really cool, and she apparently put a match together for Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles. I actually kind of need to go watch that. Anyway, Raw started off with Kurt Angle, as a lot of the times it does. He came out to announce the Superstar Shakeup. He was going to announce the first superstar of the Shakeup coming to Raw, but then he gets interrupted by Jinder Mahal. Yay Jinder. Jinder comes out and starts complaining at Kurt Angle about saying, I usually drive limousines, you picked me up in an SUV, etc., etc. Kurt Angle gets annoyed and he's like, all right, Jinder, you like to say how you're a great champion. We're going to put you up against someone in the back for your United States Championship tonight. And I guess that is another thing. Since Jinder Mahal was sent over to Raw, so did the United States Championship, which means either tonight on SmackDown, they're going to send over the Intercontinental Championship with Seth Rollins, or they're going to draft back the person holding the United States Champion. I say the person holding the United States Champion because Jeff Hardy came out of nowhere and defeated Jinder Mahal for the United States Champion. Kurt Angle announced the title match with Jinder Mahal, and then Jeff Hardy came out to answer the challenge. It was actually a pretty decent match. Jinder has gotten a lot better since he was a jobber in 3MB. There was no way he was ready for a WWE Championship run last year, but I think that's kind of beating a dead horse. Honestly, I don't think he would have been a bad United States champion, but Jeff Hardy did come out with a win, making him another Grand Slam champion, according to Twitter. I think that's what he is now. They've had a few people become Grand Slam champions recently. Orton, Rollins, and now Jeff. After the match, Jinder Mahal, in an interview with Renee Young, basically said he's going to issue his rematch clause at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So, kind of typical stuff. After that, we got a match with Sasha Banks and Bayley, with Sasha Banks coming out victorious due to disqualification. The match was decent. We've been waiting to see Bayley versus Sasha for a little while now, and I gotta be honest, I was kind of zoning in and out. My roommate and I watched Raw. I think he and I were kind of talking through a lot of it, but I did notice Banks was hitting Bayley with a lot of hard-hitting double knees. And eventually got her into the Banks statement. But the Riot Squad interfered, I guess, coming over from SmackDown, which is really cool. I've like I said, I don't watch SmackDown too often, but I did watch Fastlane, so I got to see a little bit of the Riot Squad with the match against Charlotte versus Ruby Riot, and I actually think they're pretty good. I think they're going to be a little bit better on Raw than Absolution is currently. My thought is Absolution will probably get drafted over to SmackDown with Paige, and maybe they can sort of continue that storyline. But man, Absolution has just kind of not been as good as it originally was. I feel like it was going to be. Up next, we have a match with Heath Slater and Rhino. Honestly, couple of my personal favorites in the tag team division. I wish they got a little bit more respect than what they do. I enjoy Rhino. I enjoy Heath Slater. I think they're really good and good together as well. But they had a match against Authors of Pain again. Authors of Pain were NXT call-ups. They debuted last week and defeated Heath Slater and Rhino fairly quickly. This match was not that different of a story, but I was surprised that they let Heath Slater and Rhino get some momentum in. Actually got some action on both sides, but the Authors of Pain end up hitting the final chapter. Nope. the last chapter, excuse me, on Rhino, and they picked up the win. Overall, it was a decent match. Up next, we had a Miz TV segment where the Miz was going to announce 2 new Raw superstars from the shakeup, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came out, which at first I was confused about because they technically weren't a part of any brand, and Michael Cole was talking about that too. They lost last week in order to see who would get a place on the Raw roster, but Kurt Angle came out and said sort of the same thing. He's like, you guys aren't on Raw. I don't want you here. But apparently Stephanie McMahon emailed Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and said they were going to be signed onto Raw, and there wasn't much anything Kurt could do about it. But in the same segment, Kurt announced that he's sending The Miz to SmackDown. And I think that's really exciting because now Daniel Bryan can wrestle and they can finally put to bed that rivalry. Or at least start that rivalry in a physical aspect. But Miz Taraj aren't going to SmackDown with The Miz. That was a kind of a point of contention in that segment, and I'm kind of interested to see what they're gonna do with the Miz Taraj. Odds are they're probably just gonna, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are gonna be put back into obscurity, which I don't really think. I think they're good competitors. I just don't really know what they're gonna do with them now. At the end of that segment, Kurt Angle did announce that there would be a 10-man tag team match for the main event with the Miz Taraj, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn against the team of Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman. Clearly, they only needed Strowman because he took out the entire tag team division by himself. And then a mystery partner making his Raw debut. And, that's exciting enough. And, it was a good segment. All around, it was a good segment. We have the Deleters of Worlds. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt had a match against the Revival. And the match itself was actually pretty interesting. I will say the promo, not the promo, but the video type thing that Bray and Matt did was actually kind of bad. I don't know why. It just felt really clunky. And that extended into their entrance. They literally just mashed up Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt's entrance. You start out with the Woken glass breaking, and then they're out on the ring. The music goes delete, delete, delete. And then, you have the Bray Wyatt goes dark, and you have the Fireflies. And, it's weird. That doesn't work that well because Bray's entrance has always kind of been about subtlety. And then you have Matt being Matt, laughing like a psychopath and like stealing the lantern. I don't know. It was interesting. But the match itself was pretty good. I like the Revival as a team, but, I'm a big Matt Hardy fan. And I actually think the team of Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt can go pretty far. Just judging from how much better they were this week compared to last week, where they weren't bad by any means. They had a couple of really good tag team spots with the Primetime Players. Not the Primetime Players. Wow. Titus Worldwide. Hey, Titus was in that team, so close enough, I guess. But yeah, the match was really good. I liked the way Bray Wyatt and Matt pulled out the win. Last week, Bray had one of the members, I forget which one, of Titus Worldwide and Sister Abigail in the Sister Abigail position. He then spun them back, and Matt turned it into a Twist of Fate. In this match, they did like an elevated Twist of Fate slam type thing with Bray picking up Dash Wilder by the legs, sort of carrying him like sort of like Rey Mysterio's old bulldog, but they had that, hit it with a Twist of Fate, and delete, delete, delete. Now Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt will be facing the Bar at the Greatest Royal Rumble event for the Tag Team Championships, and I'm excited. I hope they win because they're on their expedition of gold. And I think it's going to be really cool. I actually have an idea of doing a video of how to book, or how I would try to book Matt Hardy's Expedition of Gold throughout 2018. I might do that. I need to get some ideas pulled together for it because it's silly. It's really silly. But I hope they win the Tag Team Championships. And please, there's a rumor that Bray Wyatt's going to turn on Matt Hardy to join Sanity. They might be calling up Sanity. Please don't do that yet. I actually think it could be pretty cool, but don't do it immediately. Like, they just teamed up. I will say, if they change anything, Bray needs to kind of change his look just a little bit. I know it's supposed to be a yin and yang type thing, but hey, they were a lot better than they were last week. I think they have a lot more room to grow. Also disappointed that Matt and Jeff didn't have another promo segment, because now Jeff's champion, and that could have been really cool. And if Bray and Matt win the tag team championships, that's a lot of gold for House Hardy if a certain Hardy were to turn into Brother Nero. Up next, we had a segment with Brazongo, the Fashion Police. I don't like the Fashion Police. I don't like their backstage segments, but then again, I never really watched a lot of SmackDown, so I've heard some people say they're actually kind of funny. They did a bit basically where they were giving the bar tickets because of the mohawk and the kilts, which they called dresses. And nothing matches, it all clashes. It's like, I will say there was a funny line where I forget which one, because I forget who. I think Fandango looked to the Miz, was like, "You better have a permit for that mohawk." That's dumb. It wasn't that great of a segment. That turns into a match later. But up next, we had a backstage segment with Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey. They're talking about certain things, and then Natalya shows up. Natalya is coming over from SmackDown, which, I don't hate Natalya. She's been around for a long time. She's a good worker. But I don't really think she's going to add much to the women's division on Raw. I don't know. I could be wrong. Speaking of the women's division, we have a women's division match with Mickie James going up against Ember Moon, a NXT call-up that showed up last week to a really interesting match with a tag team match, Ember Moon and Nia Jax versus Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. I don't know much about Ember Moon at all. I'm on a group chat on Facebook for WWE stuff, and I'm like, I have no idea who Ember Moon is, and everyone's telling me she puts on a great match, and by God, she does. The match this week was just against Mickie James, and had a lot of cool little interactions. Ember has a lot of interesting reversals. She did like a from the ground hip up type thing into a Hurricane Rana, which I thought was cool, and just a lot of weird moves that I wouldn't expect. And, you know, a really fun match, especially the ending where Mickie James sold the Eclipse really, really well. Not like The Rock standards for the Stone Cold Stunner, but she got a flip in. And also just the Eclipse is a really, really cool move and probably one of my favorite finishers. We have a segment with The Miz, Taraj, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. It's whatever. They're just complaining about stuff. And The Miz being like, we should focus on this being my last night. And then The Miz yells at The Taraj. It's a segment. After that, we had another superstar coming over from SmackDown. It's Dolph Ziggler. Comes out to that record scratch thing. Like I said, I never really watched SmackDown that often. I don't know what was going on there. Last time I checked in on Dolph Ziggler, he was either impersonating other wrestlers' entrances or quitting. Anyway, he came out, started cutting a promo, and then he got interrupted by Titus Worldwide, of all people. Now, I like Titus Worldwide, but similar to a lot of the tag teams in the tag team division on Raw, WWE doesn't care about them, so it's kind of hard for me to care about them. You know, when you hit your signature taunt, that, you know, the worldwide thing, and the crowd does nothing, you're not. You need to work. They need to work on stuff. But anyway, it ends in a big old fight because Titus Worldwide was like, "Hey, Dolph, you should join Titus Worldwide." And Dolph's like, "No," and he throws the card at him. And then Drew McIntyre makes his way back to Raw, looking a lot meaner than the last time he was on Raw. Remember when he was in Three-Man Band? Dude, Three-Man Band are all on Raw again. You have Jinder Mahal, Heath Slater, and Drew McIntyre. That's one bad booking decision away from bringing back Three-Man Band. Which, honestly, if they did that, maybe, and obviously, like, let's say they bring the team of Three-Man Band back together, changed the name and the gimmick, it might actually be interesting. They could, Jinder Mahal's gotten a lot better. Apparently, Drew McIntyre has gotten phenomenal. Not that he was ever bad. Remember, he's the Choisin. Chosen One. Remember when he was the Chosen One? I do. But apparently Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre are teaming up, and that's really cool. Roman Reigns segment next. Yay! He comes out and does his typical Brock Lesnar's not here, I am. They're really still going with this as if it's going to get Roman over. It's not getting Roman over, but just like last week, Samoa Joe interrupts with a scathing promo saying that Roman doesn't understand his place around here, and he's never gonna, he's he's not gonna know anything until he gets put down for good. And they're teasing a match for Backlash, and I'm really, really excited for that. It almost ends in a fight. Samoa Joe makes his way to the ring twice, the second time looking a lot angrier, so you thought something was gonna break out, but it didn't. Excited for Backlash. Natalya has a match tonight, and she's facing Mandy Rose of Absolution. This match is like, whatever. I don't care about Absolution. I thought, maybe if they let Absolution win a few more matches than just like one a month. Remember when they were supposed to be like this really dominating tag team, and then Paige got injured, so she couldn't fight anymore, and now she's the GM. That's why I think they're going to send Absolution over to SmackDown, since since the Riot Squad are here now. Although they could do an interesting maybe rivalry between Absolution and the Riot Squad. I don't know. But anyway, Natalya beats Mandy Rose via the sharpshooter. Yeah, let's not put our young talent over. Let's just continuously have them lose and then fight after the match. It's like, here comes the pain. It's like SmackDown, here comes the pain. Whenever I won a match, I would try to attack them afterwards. I was kind of a douche. But afterwards, yes, Sonya Deville runs in and starts beating up Natalya, but who interrupts? Ronda Rousey. And apparently in that backstage skit with Rousey, Angle, and Natalya, Ronda and Natalya are friends. They train together. Ronda comes out to protect Natalya. Sonya Deville ends up running into the ring because, they left when Ronda's music hit. She runs into the ring. She has MMA experience. She's like, all right, let's go. And she gets taken out. She just gets taken out. That segment made up for the kind of lacking match, in my opinion. Then we had a video package announcing Baron Corbin is coming to Raw, which I think is exciting. I'm not the biggest Baron Corbin fan in terms of his character, but I do like him in the ring a lot. The End of Days is a really cool finishing move. And then I'm reading right here, apparently the Ascension, Mojo Rawley, and Mike Kanellis are going to Raw as well. I don't know much about any of them. I heard the Ascension are supposed to be really good, but they're not being booked correctly. I don't know who Mike Kanellis is at all, and I knew Mojo Rawley was feuding with Zack Ryder. So, whatever. Then we have that Breezango versus The Bar match. Two teams I couldn't care about. I'm so sick of The Bar. Please, WWE, don't have The Bar win the tag team championships at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Have Matt and Bray win it. I'm so sick of The Bar. They're great competitors. They put on great matches, but I'm just sick of seeing them everywhere. Anyway, Breezango picks up a win via a roll-up, kind of like a kind of out of nowhere roll-up, and they won. Maybe Breezango is going to be pretty good. I don't know. I have an Elias segment up next with Renee Young. And Elias is like, I'm not gonna, this is a too small of a venue to deserve a performance. He wants to fight Bobby Lashley. And Renee Young cuts him off when he does start trying to play. That's whatever. It's fine. It's an Elias bit. I like Elias. I do. He's getting to be a little bit of a one-note act. And finally, we have our main event, the 10-man tag team match with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, The Miz Taraj, and Miz versus Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, and the surprise tag team partner is Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode is coming over from SmackDown, which is exciting. I know Bobby is a great wrestler. I remember watching him for a little bit on TNA back when I watched TNA. I've heard that they're bringing back James Storm to WWE. I kind of want them to try and reform Beer Money. I think that'd be really cool because now TNA just doesn't care about their IPs anymore because they're going into the ground, which is unfortunate. But anyway, we have a 10-man tag team match, and honestly, it was okay. I was kind of hoping they would let Bobby Lashley get a bit more ring time than he actually did, but it was kind of a mess, just like you would expect out of a 10-man tag team match that kind of came out of nowhere, and ended with Braun Strowman getting the pin, which of course it did. He went for The Miz. The Miz tried to get a tag into the Miztourage. Both Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas were the last ones on the Miz's side of the ring that were on the apron. He goes to tag Curtis Axel. Curtis jumps off the side of the ring. Then he tries to tag in Bo Dallas, or the other way around. Either way, they both jumped out, turning on the Miz. Now, are Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas going to remain a tag team? I think that could be really cool. I like them both. They're good workers. It's just hard to know where they're going to go with it. Anyway, Braun Strowman picks up the pinfall with a power slam on the Miz. 1, 2, 3, and that was Raw. Honestly, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good show. I don't think it was as exciting as last week, but I got to see some of my favorite superstars: Heath Slater, Rhino, Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, of course. And I'm a big fan of guys like Finn Balor, and I'm excited to see what Bobby Lashley is going to do now that he's back. I thought he was pretty good back when he was originally on SmackDown, which apparently they said was like 11 years ago. Anyway, guys, that was Raw. I thought it was a decent show. Better than last week, but it was better than a lot of episodes recently, especially like going up to WrestleMania. I thought the episodes were kind of becoming a little lacking outside of maybe the Lesnar Reigns beating the crap out of each other. And I'm mainly like, I started watching wrestling again for the Woken Matt stuff, and that's just now picking up a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited for the greatest Royal Rumble. I hope that Matt and Bray win the tag team championships. I hope that Jeff retains. And can somebody explain to me what the greatest Royal Rumble is? Does it give them a shot at SummerSlam, I assume? It'd be a little interesting. It's a 50-man Royal Rumble. That's a lot of people. Thank you guys for tuning into Goodnight Productions. I will see you guys next week with a Monday Night Raw review. I'm going to be trying to get some other reviews out, including a new Good Night and Good Luck video. I know I've been kind of slacking on the comedy aspects of the channel, but I've got a new job. I'm kind of trying to work into a new thing, new schedule, so that way I can like have time and energy to work on stuff. So if you want to follow me on social medias, all the links will be in the description below. Twitter handle at WASDGamecom. We go live every week on twitch.tv/WASD_Gamecom. We're going to be streaming on Fridays. We're switching from Tuesdays, so maybe I can start watching SmackDown now. That'll be pretty fun. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to Goodnight Productions. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so that way you know right when I post a new video, because I don't know how frequently I am. Hopefully once a week now. And I hope you enjoy the content. Let me know if you want me to talk about anything. I'm trying to expand my reviewing world. I may do some more music reviews. I kind of wanted to talk about the new 3 Days Grace record. Take it easy.